Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Power Block. I am your host, ADB. This is episode 156. Joining me is the wise Wisconsin himself, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
Yes, everybody. Boss Man wasn't able to make it. He was having a family day, and when you're a dad and you're having time with a family, you get caught up in the fun and the enjoyment, and that takes a lot of energy. So we're gonna let Boss Man rest. Hopefully you, Jesse, had a good family fun day. I know you caught some rest, but you had your kids and stuff. So hopefully you got to be like, I could lay back and not worry about anything, but then be excited for the show.
Yeah, it's kind of the wife had something going on tonight, and so I, stayed home with the kids. So, and she doesn't really get a chance to go out as much. Like, I think I actually get a chance to go out and do stuff more than her. So, like, whenever she gets a chance, I'm just like, go for it, because
Yes.
take every chance you can get to get out of the house.
Exactly. So everybody, that's why Corey wasn't able to make it. And hopefully he had some fun. I seen some of the pictures, and I got super excited. They were just so cute and everything. But we're gonna get into the show. And we're gonna do the plugs at the end. We're gonna be talking about what we've been playing. We're gonna get into some news bits because there's some interesting things. We didn't cover a lot of Nintendo stuff, because there was just like craziness dropping. I'm like, what the world is going on? But we got a lot to talk about, and then we're gonna answer your guys' questions. And yes, this is episode 154. In case if I missed it, but I'm gonna start with you, Jesse. What you been playing?
All right, so I actually got a chance to pick up a couple of cheaper games this week. It's because I had I had a little bit of cash, and Corey and you guys have been talking about Hook or whatever, so I ended up picking that up, and I've been enjoying that a lot. So
Look, it's worth the $1.99, isn't it?
Yeah,
Plus
yeah.
tax.
Even though you can just go on the website and play it for free.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's I think it's originally just a Flash game. Like,
Oh, I
it's
didn't
just a
know
game.
that.
Like, I don't remember what it was, like mathgames.com. I don't remember what it was, but
Mhm.
I was searching, like just looking it up, like information about it, and then all of a sudden this like thing popped up to play it, play it now or whatever. And then it's just some game that someone made, and like you can play, through your browser or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that's not really the best way to play it anyways. I mean, unless you got like a nice big PC screen, you can,
Yes.
or whatever. But like you can play it in the browser though on your phone is what I did, and then you can, use your touch screen on there as well. So the touch screen is activated for the browser version as well. So yeah, but I think it might have been a little bit different, but it was the same. It's the same game. It's just I think they may have had some of those levels in the beginning a little bit out of a different order. So
Okay.
but it was essentially the same exact game. And so but I've been playing it on the Switch, and and it's just it's a really good game for just relaxing, and it gets you thinking a little bit. And I think I'm only in like maybe puzzle 40 or something like that.
Yeah, that's about the same area. I'm like 45 for.
Okay. Yeah,
About
like
that.
I had just started getting into the whole like where you're using more of like almost like a radio signal to set off traps, like
Yeah.
where you've got to like do it almost wirelessly, like a remote. And you got to like connect the wires to certain signals or whatever to line up with the other, wherever it is on the other wires to pull the hooks in or whatever. Like I did a couple of the maps of those, like that. I'm just past that part. So maybe it's in the 30s still, but I think it's close to like 40s. But
Okay. It
yeah,
really makes you think, don't it?
yeah. There was a couple of them, like, for the most part, like up until the like where I'm at about, I would just breeze right through them. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
zip, 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 and it wasn't really that big of a deal. But you can tell that it's gonna be, as it goes on, it's gonna be harder and harder and and harder until I'm sure there'll be points where takes like a couple of minutes to really sit and look at it and figure things out. So yeah, it's definitely enjoyable, and for the price, like I said, it, even though you can play it for free on the web browser, like I just like playing it like full screen on the Switch. Don't have to worry about anything. Can use the touch screen if I want.
Yes.
It works perfectly for the Switch. Like
Yeah.
but
Yeah, when Corey talked about it, and then I like I said, when I picked it up and I started playing it, like it was that Sunday I was off, and I was just unlocking puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and you
yeah,
just don't realize on, like it feels good unlocking it. There's something about
yeah,
having that key just go down, and then
yeah,
it vanish, and then just like yes, I solved it. And then when it gets like difficult, you kind of got to pay attention to be like, okay, which one is on the top that I need to get rid of? Let me find the path. Let me, because dude, you're going to get into some trial and error stuff, and it's going to be frustrating. But it's just
yeah,
like you're involved in it. Like you're addicted to it. Just like I don't want to cut this off, but I gotta
yeah.
cut this off because I'm gonna be like, I want to solve this. And I haven't looked up no answers.
No, me
Like
neither.
like if literally feels good just figuring it out on your own. And I don't know how many levels it is or anything, but it feels
Yeah.
good figuring this stuff out on your own.
I'm guessing there's probably like hundreds of them, because I mean, if you think about it, it really isn't it wouldn't be that difficult of a game to create as far as file size, I'm guessing,
Yes.
because it's a lot of the same assets being reused, and everything's basically being reused, so I don't think it would probably take, be that big of a file, and they could just, like just spit out levels like nothing,
Right.
because but yeah, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And like you said, it kind of is like you keep on going and you just want to keep on going, but you're like, yeah, I should probably turn this off now and get something else done. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely loving it a lot. And then the only other thing that I really played is I also bought a new game called Omega Strike. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with that game at all.
No.
No?
I think
Okay.
I know we talked about it, but
Yeah.
um I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Okay. So it's basically it's like a mix. It's like it's like a mix between Metroid and Mega Man. Like it does the whole like like the Metroid style of like the maps,
Hmm.
like where you've got a big map and then you go through it and it kind of shows you like the map, like where you've already been, where you haven't, stuff like that, like the certain level, certain areas of the map, if there's like something of significance, like a save spot or whatever, those sections will be red.
Yeah.
And but it's similar to Mega Man in that there's three main characters that you're playing as. And so the way that they do it is the scientist that you work with has
Yes.
created like a teleport thing. So what you can do is at any moment while you're in the middle of battle, you can push the button and it's like you're teleporting the other character in your place. And then you just, so it's a smooth transition. Like the
Yeah.
second you push the button, you're a different character, and then instantly you can use their abilities. And so what it is through as you're going through the levels, and it's like military style, like you're this three military characters that are working together to take out all these evil guys and try to find like the main bad guy or whatever and take them out. And so like each character has his own ability. So like there's certain parts of the map that you can't get at unless you're a certain character. But each character also has upgrades. So you've got
Hmm.
to upgrade all their stuff. And then I do believe they get upgrades to their abilities as well later.
Okay.
So what you're doing is basically is you are replaying maps, but you have to replay it with the different characters'
Characters.
abilities to try to
So
progress.
so the world is connected. It's not level based. Like it's not like stage
Um,
one, stage two, or anything. It's like it's all connected, like different areas.
yeah, it's more like not what the heck is that game called? The one where you're digging underground and stuff and you got the bombs and
A Steam
why am
World.
I SteamWorld, yeah.
Okay.
SteamWorld Dig. It's very similar to SteamWorld Dig where you I like well I guess I shouldn't say that because I guess there are technically different worlds that
Hmm.
you're going to, but like the one you have a guy who drives a helicopter that you meet after you kind of finish most of the first world,
Yes.
and then that guy that drives a helicopter, you just talk to him and he'll bring you to the different other areas of interest.
Okay.
So I guess technically you do kind of have different worlds, but you can jump back and forth to them at any time just by going to the helipad or whatever, and then
Okay.
talking to the guy, and then he'll bring you. And then like you've got a merchant where you can buy like healing things and then you got the one guy who does that you deal with that does all the upgrading and
Yes.
stuff. And you do there's some upgrading you do by these special red cube things that you find.
Hmm.
So when every time that you find four of them, kind of similar to the heart pieces in Zelda, like once you find four of these square pieces, then you create another cube of life on your life bar.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but like the characters are like pretty cool. Like each one has like got their own style, and like the one guy that's like can do a double jump. He kind of like reminds me of the newer, well, he wasn't, I guess he's not necessarily the newer guy, but the guy that works with the team on um not Fantastic Four. What's the Disney movie? The about the family that are superheroes.
The Incredibles.
Yeah, the Incredibles. The one guy that's friends with them that's also one of the superheroes. Like he
Uh,
could like your character kind of looks like him a little bit. Like
okay.
he's got like a helmet that's got like a visor that goes over the front of it, the front of his eyes or whatever.
Yeah, that's Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of reminds me of him. He's like really super skinny and he's got that like I said, he's got like a visor thing that goes over his face. And then you've got obviously like the big brute guy that's like his ability is there's like there'll be these big blocks that you have to push out of the way to continue through a level, and so he's the only one who can do that.
Yes.
And then your straight up military guy who can do a military roll. He does a crouch and roll, and you do that to roll under smaller areas to
Yes.
go into the next area. But what's cool is it kind of like some like the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is like the Wild Arms game. Like how when you first start it, you start as one character and then you got to find all the other ones, and
Yes.
then after that you work as a group.
Yes.
So that's kind of what happens. Like for a very brief period of time, you play as all three of them just to kind of get used to like their characters,
Hmm.
and then you meet up with the bad guy, and then he like zaps the two of your characters and teleports them somewhere. he like takes them, and then basically you have to play as just the military guy, and then the whole beginning of it is you have to rescue the friends, and then after that, then it goes into the end game type stuff. So
Gotcha. Okay.
so yeah, it's a really good game. Like for the price, it's really good. Because I think it was only like $6 or something like that.
Yeah. So for anyone who's watching this on Tuesday, or actually today, it's $5.09. Sorry, it's $5.09 on the eShop. So
Okay.
you guys can pick it up. It's a good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like if you want to play like like in and how I said it, it's kind of reminds me of Metroid or Mega Man, is just because like you have, so like when you're going against bosses,
Hmm.
each boss has a weakness, and so you want to use whichever character's ability that would work the best on that boss.
Yes.
So like that's how it kind of reminds me of Mega Man in some ways. And just like you have like the one guy that shoots, like a big blast, but they shoot kind of slower,
Yeah.
but they do, can do more damage, I think, after you upgrade them than
Yes.
maybe just a regular machine gun or whatever. And, and then like certain attacks can reach areas better than others and things like that when you're
Hmm.
trying to attack from a distance or whatever. So yeah, and there's a little bit of grinding. You can do a bunch of grinding if you want to get the currency to buy the upgrades for your guns and stuff like that. Because all the guns and the upgrades like that are just take the currency. And so it's kind of like just whenever you destroy like things in the environment, it will give you drop currency sometimes, or
Okay.
characters or things like that. So
Hmm.
you can actually, there's areas, because when you leave a section of the map and then go back to it, everything reappears again. So you can just keep on doing that and destroy stuff to get currency. So like you can do stuff like that if you really want to, and just like upgrade stuff a whole bunch right away, off the bat. But yeah, I mean, it's like it seems like, and it's not really super hard. I would say it's like more on the easy side
Yeah.
than like Mega Man, because Mega Man can get pretty difficult. So like it's definitely a lot easier than that. But I think the main reason why is just because the enemies don't have like super difficult patterns to learn, so
Mm.
it's definitely an easier game, and that's probably why it's a little bit cheaper, but still it's a lot of fun, and it's completely worth the $5. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get into what I've been playing. I spent a lot Thursday, dude, last week. So I did get Borderlands for PS4. I'll talk about that on AX. I mean, yeah, Borderlands. I got that. I picked up Hop, the definitive edition. I'm going to wait for Corey to come back to talk about that game. Ooh, sorry about that. Still playing Yoshi's Crafted World. By the time you guys see this or Arsenal X, the review will be up, so you guys can expect that. I kind of posted on. I don't know if I shared it on the fan page yet. But on my personal page on Facebook and on Twitter at the Retro, I put their back, and it's the little bird things on the moon that walk around. He was a boss in Yoshi's Island
oh, okay.
where you got stuck to the moon and you rotated through the moon rotated, and your job was wherever spot that he was at, you had to trick him to the spot that when you ground pound this little uh hill, it would pop on the other side and hit him.
Oh, okay.
But now he's like in the game as a regular as a regular enemy, and you can't eat them, but you can't jump on them. It is really cool, and I just looked at it and I'm just like, I miss these guys. So, uh, yeah, I'm getting further into that, but I will have the review up about that time. I picked up another game called Goken. This is an action RPG. Um, Kind of in the brand of Zelda and Secret of Mana. It's a kind of cool game. It has a not a action style kind of feel. But you can do combos. I'm still at the beginning, so um I haven't picked up any other weapons yet. So, but I'm still kind of in the beginning of it. Um, Picked up She Remember Caterpillars, and just to give you guys heads up about this. I talk about my podcast World 11. Me and co-host Larry Giver, uh, like about a year and a half ago, we actually have an episode that we talked to with the artist. She Remember Caterpillars, and we had a really great time talking about it. And he been trying to get the game on console, and then we found out that it came to Switch. So this is the game that he did the art for, and it's kind of it's a puzzle game that's kind of color based. And in order for you to get through certain paths, you have to be a certain color, and you can switch on different colors by pressing L or R. Right now, I'm probably on the third level. I'm not too far. I just dabbed a little bit of it to make sure that I understand what I was doing was the right way. So it is a nice puzzle game. So if you guys are interested, you can check that out. Also picked up Arcade Archives Terraforce. This is a vertical shoot 'em up or shmup. Uh, I've never heard of this game. I've never played it. This is literally my first time playing this game. Um, it's a weird premise and a kind of some weird gameplay. It's old school in the fact that if you die, you go back to your last checkpoint.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not like when you die, a new ship appears and it keeps going.
Yeah.
But like you gotta keep going over. So if you like real far ahead and you don't get that checkpoint, if you died, you got to start all the way back there.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I will say that. Um, Also played Final Fantasy 9, Blossom's Tale. I played little bit more. Still playing a little bit more of I guess it's Jotun, Valhalla Edition. Um, but I did pre-order Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy on Switch, and I think it will be out in a couple of weeks, so I can't wait for that. Try to pre-order Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on Switch since it's coming out April 11th, um, and I couldn't do. It wouldn't
Yeah.
let me do it. It just said coming soon. I just like no. So I instead of getting Hellblade, I end up getting street not Street Fighter Phoenix Wright. So I might still get it on the 11th, but I think I'm going to wait. And I still want you and Jesse White to still come on my other podcast so we can have that discussion because every time I keep saying that I'm gonna get into playing Hellblade, I end up getting playing into something else. So I'm gonna start Hellblade on Xbox and then work my way and just like really I'm probably gonna play it later this week. And I don't think it's that long. I think it's about what 6 to 8 hours, I think.
Um. Hmm, I think it might have been closer to 10.
To 10. Okay.
I think. I think I ended up finishing it in like 10 hours or
10
something.
hours.
I mean, I'm sure you can finish it quicker than that, but I think it was like 8 to 10.
But you probably broke it up in days, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I believe it tells you at the end how long you
Okay.
played it for or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't remember why, but I I just know that for some reason I remember knowing how long it took or something like that. But
Okay.
maybe I was just trying to keep track of how much I played. I don't remember, but I thought it was like 8 to 10. But
Yeah, it probably is. Because I figured like it's not that long, and from where I'm at, because me and Corey played it for Pot and Play season 3, which you guys should go check out. Pot and Play, plug. Um, when we played that game and we talked about it, and we may have mentioned that game coming to Switch. But with it coming now, I'm just gonna wait probably on my next paycheck to buy it.
Hmm.
Hopefully. But this would be my third time, and probably the first game that I own on all 3 platforms. Because I have it for PS4, I have it for Xbox. Um, and I can't wait to buy it on Switch. And I definitely wanted to buy it on Xbox because of them contributing part of their the funds that they received it was going to like mental health research. So
Hmm.
I'm like I really wanted to be a part of that, and it was a big success. So uh
Hmm.
that's what we all been playing, what we have brought in and stuff. There's gonna be more talk, so you guys can tune in tomorrow for Arsenal X to hear something that me and Jesse are probably going to be discussing, a particular game. I'm just gonna say that. But we're gonna get into these news bits. And all our news, these 3 stories are coming from Nintendo Life. Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild getting Labo VR support. Nintendo has revealed it will be releasing free Labo VR updates for Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on April 25th, allowing you to experience both games in a whole new way. The Super Mario Odyssey update will add in 3 new mini missions where you collect musical notes and coins as you revisit the Cap, Seaside, and Luncheon Kingdom. In Breath of the Wild update, there's a new option in the menu to activate the Toy-Con VR goggles. Once you've done this, you'll be able to enjoy Link's epic adventure on Switch like never before. Of course, if you want to try out both of these updates, you'll need to make sure you pick up the VR kit, which is due out on April 12th. There'll be 2 versions available. One kit includes all of the Toy-Con creations, and the other is the more affordable starter set, including the VR goggles and blaster. Um, so, uh, yeah, and I don't know if they have a price out yet for these sets yet. Um, but if you guys are interested, next Thursday, actually this coming Thursday, the set will be out, and then 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks following will be the updates. They do have video of it, the kind of like simulated, but I think it's cool. I like Nintendo kind of probably was figuring out a way on how to get this to work, to be like, we could do VR or we could simulate VR, and still make it affordable
Yeah.
to the gamers. What are your thoughts, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Like just, like more and more we're seeing the PSVR, playing, now Borderlands and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So like it'll be fun to see them like do that, try to do that with their games. Like that would be cool if we get updates to play, play a bunch of their games in the VR uh goggle, setup. So like I'm just kind of excited to see what they do with it. So
And I know they have like that steering wheel one for Mario Kart. So I
yeah.
I wonder I wonder how, if they could. Well, they can't do that in VR because you can't have 2 systems going on.
Hmm.
Uh, but I would love to see Mario Kart VR for people to play. Like I think that
Yeah.
would probably be cool. And I think there might be some ingenu there might be some people who could engineer some creative stuff
Well,
with out of cardboard for this, or even plastic.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so technically you can use one Joy-Con to play Mario Kart, right? Correct?
Yes.
So like I think all they technically need to do is make it where you have to use, like if you want to play Mario Kart in VR, you basically what you would have to do is one of them would have to go in the VR kit, to be the motion sensor for moving your head and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And then the other one you'd actually play with, or if you want to, you can put it in the steering wheel labo thing, and then you'd be able to just drive it while you're playing it in VR and do all your attacks and stuff from on the controller. Because I think that I'm guessing that's how it's going to work, is one of them's going to have to go on the headset to be the motion sensor
Yeah,
to read the motion of moving your head.
yeah,
So that's all they technically need to do for the, I mean, mind you, they would have to make a because if I remember correctly, you don't have a first person mode for the camera on Mario Kart, do you?
no, you don't.
No. Okay. So yeah, I think that's essentially all they'd have to do, is they'd have to make another camera angle where you're looking first person.
And they probably could do an update for that. They probably could.
Yeah.
Probably after this comes out, they'll probably be working on a free update um to include that mode, so that not
Yeah.
only do you get the level VR, but you can go in first person. Because
Yeah.
they said playing in Japan, there have been people who have played Mario Kart in VR and said
Yeah.
it's an amazing time. So
Yeah.
if they could imitate that here in America or pretty much around the world, anyone who has a Switch, I think it would be not. I think that would be not only. I think would that garner more sales for Labo and Labo VR, but it would garner more sales for Mario Kart because like for Switch, Mario
Yeah.
Kart 8 Deluxe has sold a ton and it
Yeah.
continues to sell.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
this is like pushing over.
That would be a fun experience. It would definitely be like driving in a roller coaster though, I feel like, because you got, like the things that go looping
Uh-huh.
the flying parts where you're flying. That would all be pretty interesting to see in VR.
Oh my
Like I
goodness.
have a feeling I have a feeling some people probably might not be able to handle it, the motion stuff, but
Yeah.
but I,
I,
I don't think it's too bad, I played some of the PSVR games where you're like flipping all up different directions, and that
yeah.
kind of made me sick. But I think I think I think stuff would be subtle enough in Mario Kart that it wouldn't be as bad. But I guess that's the thing we'd have to see, and hopefully we will see.
And before we get into the next story, Star Fox Zero appeared in my mind, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I think they literally can't fix the controls, and probably do an update for Switch. I
Well,
just say, or even Starlink.
yeah,
Uh,
Starlink.
Starlink might be a better one. But I could
Though
see those two games coming and using
though
Labo VR.
though that game hasn't been selling very well, so
Yeah, I read the story about
yeah,
that.
it's kind of a bummer. But
Well, it sold well enough on Switch, but it didn't sell well on the other platforms. So
yeah,
they're
yeah,
just not bringing any more toys out for it. So,
yeah. So, but
but
but yeah, I mean that would be a little update. Like I don't know. I guess well, it might be pretty big, but still, who knows? We'll see. I guess.
yeah, we'll see in the future. So we're gonna move on to the next story. Prince Harry thinks Fortnite should be banned. Prince Harry, Duke success, and member of the British royal family, thinks that gaming phenomenon Fortnite shouldn't be allowed. The Daily Express reports that during a visit to a YMCA in West London, Prince Harry urged parents to protect their children from irresponsible games, using Fortnite as an example. He described the game as an addiction, stating that parents don't know what to do about it and its effects on their children. The game shouldn't. Then this is Prince Harry quoting. The game shouldn't be allowed. Where's the benefit of having it in your household? It's created to addict. Addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. Parents have got their heads up. They don't know what to do about it. It's like waiting for the damage to be done. In January of last year, it was reported that the World Health Organization would list game addiction as a mental health condition for the first time. It was a controversial decision amongst fans of the hobby and one that went against the findings of a University of Oxford study looking into the matter. The ESA, Entertainment Software Association, actually went on to criticize the decision. Despite this, the well-being of people who game for long periods of time, especially those who are young, remains a topic of debate. Uh, this is an odd story,
Yeah.
and it's odd in the fact that Prince Harry in UK is worried about Fortnite. I'm like, you have never talked about video games, and 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 your whole well-being of life. You've never talked about a video game, and now you want to say something about Fortnite being an addiction, and it's just like, um, did you see the stuff that you did before you got married?
Well, the thing is like there's there's I don't know. It's just not the same. Like the thing is anything can be addictive, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got an addictive personality, unfortunately, that's something that either you've got to learn as an adult and change those habits, or certain things, if they're really bad for you, you just gotta just accept that you can't do those things, like
Hmm.
drinking and stuff like that. Or if you're a parent, like you've got to set rules for your kids to that they just can't sit and play it for 10 hours a day or whatever. Like
Right. And
this comes back to the thing where like where people bring up like where like we shouldn't, there's just certain things that we shouldn't have to be making laws for, or or like having the government deal with things, and like because that's just something that you should be either doing as a parent, or you should
yes.
be doing as an adult for yourself. And it's like yeah, it just any time something like this comes up and people bring up addiction, um it's just I just don't listen. I
And it's
don't
weird.
listen because it just doesn't, it's just not something that is important, I guess,
And
for
and for the story, it's weird that he just goes out and say it. Well, where's the proof? Like, has it dropped in? Has like sports and outside activities dropped? Is there a percentage or something? Like, is there a study or research or even a poll that you did amongst parents and kids that playing us playing one particular game, for example, has actually affected um the livelihood of those kids and sports and stuff, because it's just like you said, Jesse, you as a parent, you could put restrictions on stuff. In fact, Nintendo has a whole video of it. Nintendo been showing videos of this constantly on how the stuff gets done.
Mhm.
uh and so if you if if parents are just letting their kids play whatever they want to play for a long time, some parents really find like that game is babysitting their kids because they don't have to be bothered. I'm like,
Mhm. And
eh,
there's
eh,
not exactly anything wrong with doing that occasionally,
yeah,
but that's the thing, is like as an adult you should be paying attention to those kinds of things.
right. Because I think there are games that people are playing, young and old, that actually kind of have benefits to it. We talked about some people playing driving games, helping them drive actually better on the road, or some people who can't really who have social anxiety playing Wii Sports and really
Yeah.
having a great time bowling, even with like I think Prince Harry, and I don't know him personally or anything like that. I think he sat on the sideline and seen something and just decided to speak out on it instead of doing any personal research, any personal. Because my thing is, if you're going to say this, I want to see Prince Harry do a follow up. Banning one particular game isn't going to solve the situation
Yeah.
because I'm like, what is banning Fortnite going to do?
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
yeah,
so,
it's not gonna do anything. And like, like we had people that were addicted to World of Warcraft, and like I'll admit it, when I was younger, I was basically addicted to playing Halo all the time.
right.
Like Call of Duty, there's been times where like I've made poor choices and decided not to do stuff around the house and instead just played it for hours, but like like I get it. I get that that actually happens, and like being addicted to something like that can be a thing, but to you've got to either leave that to the parents or to people's self to deal with those kinds of issues, and stop it before it becomes a problem. you know like like I do agree that they can be addictive. Like that's it's just that, like to me, like this just seems like him just trying to get attention more than anything. Like,
Mhm.
because really ultimately, what does anyone really care about any of them unless they do or say something? Then right away everyone talks about it. But I just don't think it's really anything. Like he's not the person we should be listening to about stuff like that. Like not, at least not the way he's going about it. Like
Yes.
it's one thing to say you want to ban something, and it's another thing to just put out like a PSA for parents or something like that.
Right.
Like you don't have to ban a game, because people can do the parenting job. People can do, like try to do things to take care of themselves and be better at the way they manage their time. That's things that people can do on their own. You don't have to ban a game for that to happen.
I fear that people probably gonna say, Prince Harry, don't worry about Fortnite, worry about Brexit. I could probably see that in the comment section. But we're gonna get into our last story. Um, boxing legend Mike Tyson seems to think Nintendo is working on a new Punch Out. And oh boy, I think I laughed when I read this. Right. If you're familiar with the boxing legend Mike Tyson, you'll likely remember how his name was attached to Punch Out on the NES. Due to licensing issues and Tyson's imprisonment in the 90s, the game was renamed and nowadays has featuring Mr. Dream in the title. Still, that's not enough for Mike to forget he was once affiliated with this classic, as he recently noticed Nintendo of America's tweet about the April NES games for the Switch Online service. In case you missed it, this month, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which is actually in Japan, Super Mario Bros. 2, Star Soldier, and Punch Out featuring Mr. Dream are being added to the digital library. Uh, Mike Tyson tweeted out, Mr. Dream, everyone tell at Nintendo America who they think of when they hear Punch Out. It seems the mere mention of Punch Out was enough to make Mike think a new one was on the way, as exactly an hour after he found out about this, he tweeted Nintendo's Japanese account asking why he hadn't been contacted about the next entry. Heard at Nintendo was doing the new Punch Out without even contacting me. It won't be the same. My knockout made the game. That's whack. It looks like the former boxer might be a bit confused about what exactly is going on here. Even if a new Punch-Out game was announced in the future, we imagine Nintendo would prefer to make use of its own boxers, such as Little Mac. Now,
So, no, so in other words, like the last story, another famous person who's talking about something they really don't know anything about.
oh, exactly. I'm like, uh, there were two other Punch-Outs, and you were out. You weren't even in jail. The Super Punch Out for Super Nintendo, and then
Yeah,
this Punch Out for the Wii. Like, and you weren't in jail when those games came out.
yeah.
So what are you like? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you might want to, figure out what's going on first before you just start, like getting all upset and making a. But like ultimately the thing is this is just gonna be good for Nintendo in the end because it's getting people like us talking about it.
But yeah, but it's just
Uh,
like, Mike, w- where have you been at? Like, and I can understand, with the licensing agreement because during that time, for a lot of people who don't know, uh, if you look up the history of Mike Tyson and his boxing career, you would literally be amazed of his ups and downs. More his downs than his ups. Just saying.
yeah.
I really hope I think there's a documentary about Mike Tyson. If not, someone needs to make one because you will be amazed at the stuff that happened to that man.
I think he wrote a book.
He
I
may
think
have.
I think he wrote a book. I'm pretty sure he wrote a book
Yeah. Yeah.
because that man's got a lot of stories to tell.
Right. 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 And yeah, that's why it made me laugh. It was just like, um, it wasn't because of you being in the game. Punch Out is a fun game. You learn the patterns, you punch, and you win if you can
Mhm.
figure out the patterns and stuff. Why you think Little Mac is in Smash Brothers and people still use him and stuff? When you think of Punch Out, you kind of think of Little Mac and Doc. You don't think of Mike Tyson. You know,
Yeah, I mean, like obviously the original, very first one. It
right?
was just because he's basically the boss in that
Oh,
level in that game, isn't he?
and yeah, he's the boss in the one.
Yeah.
And let me add this, everybody, because I forgot. There was three punch outs. There's an arcade version, which you also can play on Switch. Um, then is there's four games in total. There's the arcade version, the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Wii version.
Hmm.
So Punch Out was already a game in the arcade before it even came to NES.
Yeah.
He was it's just that Mike Tyson was hot in his career, and Nintendo went to go get him in,
Yeah.
and that's how that
Yeah.
happened. I think this,
Just
yeah,
yeah, just like, during that time didn't they have the Ken Griffey baseball and stuff like that
yes,
eventually and yeah.
and,
So they
and,
basically you want to throw a big name on there to get some sales, especially in the US and stuff
and
like that.
Ken Griffey, Nintendo actually had stock in in that field, that Ken Griffey, and I think they had something in the team in Seattle. But I know recently, I think two or 3 years ago, Nintendo just like ended their business deal with them. But
Hmm.
yeah, when Ken Griffey Jr. baseball was out on N64 and stuff, Nintendo had stock in that. They put money uh into that team, into that stadium. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. Shoot, heck, Nintendo even did NCAA basketball. And that's telling you something.
Yeah.
So, oh, the '90s. Maybe we will do that one day. I'm going to ask Corey. Uh, for like Nintendo, how in the '90s they when they went outside of their universe and did other stuff like licensing stuff, like Ken
Yeah.
Griffey and Mike Tyson and stuff. Because it's
Yeah.
very interesting to see all the stuff that they did. Just saying.
Yeah.
So but everybody, that is our news bits. We're going to get into the question box, and then I got a special question that I want to ask you, everybody, and then we're going to get into the plugs, and then we'll let you guys have a great week. So question block. Our first one comes from Megan Green. With the Link's Awakening remake on the horizon, do you think we could see other remakes from other franchises from the 80s and 90s game consoles? What game would you want to see remade from that time? Uh, so. Uh, I'm going to do this. We're going to pick
Okay.
one game from the 80s. We're going to pick one game from the 90s.
Okay.
Okay, so for the 80s, for me, it's Kid Nick Eye. This is a game from Data East, and you have a rat tail on it, but you would swing your sword, and it would make a like kind of blade kind of sound, and um every time you hit an enemy or you when you got to a boss and you hit it, your sword will fall out and you had to go and grab it. It's a game that you might want to look at. I played it in the arcade, but beat it on the NES and got my tail kicked. So Jesse, what is your 80s game?
Unfortunately, it will never happen, but I would love to just see like the Turtles in Time or well, not Turtles in Time, the second Turtles game where it was a little bit different. It was
Oh, the
more of
arcade
like
game.
no, not the arcade game, the one where
Yeah,
you
the
what
arcade game was the second
or
game.
was the second one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Then the first one, the one where you like it was an
was
actual
going in the
world.
sewers and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like that game was so good, but at the same time there was things about it that weren't that could easily be fixed and make it like a really, really good game.
Yes, that I agree.
Like I did because unfortunately, like when people talk about the Turtles, it's usually the arcade game or the more beat 'em up ones that are, like aren't quite like it's just the side scrolling beat 'em ups. Whereas like that first one was just so much more intricate and like had you like it was almost like a Mario, like Super Mario world, like where when you're up above ground it was like the moving from level to level almost
Yes.
in Mario, but then you would go to each section and then yeah, underground would be the whole side scrolling part. Like I would like to see that redone and just kind of make it what it was, but to the best of its ability.
And dude, the covers gotta be rock versions. Like, have you heard some of the rock covers?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first, dude,
yeah.
they're
The
so good. They really are good. Uh,
yeah.
so, I'm gonna let you go with the '90s first, and then I'm gonna go do my.
I've gotta think about it yet a little bit, I
Did you want me
think.
to go again?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you can go ahead. I gotta
So
I gotta try to think about it.
I've been throwing this game name around on Twitter, on Facebook, so many times. But yes, everybody, I want Keith Courage in the Alpha Zone to be remade, and I want it on Switch. And I literally think, uh, uh, the people who did the Messenger, could
Oh,
do.
okay.
Uh,
What are their name? I can't think of it right
I can't
now.
think of their names neither. But cause Yacht Club, I wouldn't want them to touch this game. It's not for them. Actually, you know what? The Messenger, the people who made the Messenger or Way For It could do this game. Um, Keith Courage and Alpha Zone was a pack in for the TurboGrafx 16 back in the 90s. And you kind of like are this little anime looking boy, and you kind of got this sword and you stab him. But when you get into this other world, you kind of transform into this robot and you attack with this laser kind of sword. And the more that you play, the more that you level up your sword, the longer it gets. Um, and yeah, man, and it never got a sequel, but I would love this game literally be remade. And it's a level based game, so it goes from human to robot. And it's like you can watch it on YouTube and you might laugh at it, but I remember literally playing this game and enjoying the heck out of it. And I really wanted to come back. And I think they could do a remake or a reboot or a reimagine, whatever they want to do with this. I really just want that game to come back. Like I really do, dude. So
Okay, I think I would like to see a very like modernized version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
yeah, well,
like have it more I don't
okay.
know if
So
I don't know if I would want to do it like
this
Dark Souls, but
because you had the PS2 one.
Yeah.
But are you talking about a remake of the
No,
NES
yeah, a remake of the NES
of the
one,
NES one? Okay.
the super, yeah. This,
Well,
well,
it
it
had
would have, I guess it would have been the Super Ghouls and Ghosts because
right,
the '90s would have been Super Nintendo.
right.
So, but because but I would like them to do it complete like a remake like a just do it like completely different
Uh-huh.
like still keep the keep the worlds that you're going through as you're progressing,
Yes.
but like make it like all modernized, like I don't know, maybe even like more like do it more in like a the DMC style like of game, like where you still have like the weapons and stuff like that, but it's not quite like too much, you know?
Yes.
Like you can like pick up the upgrades and stuff like that as you're going, but still make it difficult, obviously, like where the character like where you really need to I guess you almost would kind of have to do it somewhat similar to like Sekiro or something where you'd actually have to like make it where you've got to like block at just the right time and things like that just to somehow keep like give it that difficulty level, you know.
You have your lance and you can the more you fight and explore, the more you'll get those weapons. But
Yeah,
like you have to block and parry and do stuff because if you get hit, you lose your armor.
yeah, 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 so you can only yeah because they could keep it the same where the second you get hit your armor is gone, and
Yeah.
if you get hit again you're dead, you know. So
Yes.
like so make it just difficult enough that it makes it challenging, but not like, you know, like obviously like once you get further on in the level, it could be more difficult. So they could still do it like kind of what they did in that game where the characters kind of come slowly like one at a time or whatever for
Uh-huh.
the most part, and then still have things that like can like lock onto you and shoot stuff towards you, but you can kind of move out of the way of it. So like they can still kind of have that feeling of just kind of chaos going on,
Yes.
but still not make it where it's like almost impossible to move forward without getting hit by something. And then they could have like, you know, like little like things that happen like in the level where it's kind of like a lava level they could have where like lava comes across the path at some point and you've got to wait and time it for every time that like lava flows through or something, you know, like just things like that to still kind of also give you that sense of like you have to wait for things to be able to progress quick before it comes through again. You know,
Hmm.
like Tomb Raider does, where a lot of the times where they have the swinging axe things and stuff that you've got to like, you know, sneak past and kind of take your time and go through them, you know, without getting hit by them and stuff like that. So like, you know, they could kind of almost do it similar to like a Tomb Raider game as well, but more of a melee style game.
Okay. Uh, and yeah, I think we will see other remakes from other franchises from the 80s and 90s. As you can see, we don't have a remake, but Streets of Rage 4. We have you know, Toe Jam and Earl. And then some of the Sega games are getting a remake. And I cannot think of it. Two of them that's been remade for it, but I think we'll see more coming out from it because I think we're at a point of technology that if they remake it and it really looks good and plays good, people are interested in playing it and kind of learning some of the history about that game. But we're gonna move
Mhm.
on to the next question. Tim Winterbody, howdy everybody. I just found your show when looking for Nintendo podcast, and I think it's great. I recently just purchased a Switch with Breath of the Wild, and though I'm late to the party, I think it's fantastic. But as I plan on going all digital moving forward, how did you guys decide what size memory card to purchase? What are some must-haves on the system in terms of indies or smaller titles? Um, For me and Corey, personally, we know that we was gonna be buying a lot of indie games. Stuff kept dropping, and titles kept getting announced, and we were just like, okay, we're gonna be buying physical, and we're going to be buying digital. And since there's a lot of great sales that happen on digitally almost every Thursday, we decided to get like almost. We started out with a 32, and we knew that we needed more, so we jumped to like a 200 plus gigabytes. So depending on what you like and depending on what you're planning to get, if you're doing a lot of the big games, I would say um you're gonna need a real big micro SD card. And if you can get one on Amazon or in Best Buy or whatever for a good sale, that's fine. Um it depends if you're doing more indies then you doing more of the bigger titles because with the bigger titles we recommend not we but I recommend you just to go ahead and get the physicals. Check limited run, check Best Buy, check Target, Amazon. Like of those games that are indie has the physical version, you may be paying a little bit more but it's gonna be worth it and you'll really have um a better library physically because a lot of people who own switches are planning to some people even double dip of getting the physical version over the digital one. But if you're doing a lot of indie games you can start out with a 64 gig or a 200 gig depending on what you're going to be getting. Uh
Yeah,
I'm, go ahead, Jesse.
I've got the 128 gig.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get the 200. And I still got a bunch of space, and
Mhm.
I'm mostly, I would say mostly digital. Like I've bought a lot of my the bigger games
Uh-huh.
like Mario Rabbids, Mario Tennis, um there's a couple of big games like that that I've bought digitally, and like I do like buy a lot of indie games because like I'd said, yeah, there's a lot of really good indie games like all the time. Like the just like I said the other day, I bought a couple of them, and
Mhm.
and they always have really good sales on stuff too. Like it's not even just indie games, it's just they have really good sales a lot of the time as well. Um, so yeah, I mean like the 128 was fine for me. You should be able to get a lot of that stuff for pretty cheap. Um, you just got to be careful though, like using like eBay or something.
Yes.
But you can buy stuff. I would like Amazon. You can usually find memory cards on there for really cheap, and
Mhm.
a lot of the times there'll be places that they that are certified that will say like Amazon certified. So that usually means that they're kind of a little bit closer with that seller or whatever. So if
Yeah.
anything bad was to happen, you it wouldn't be that big of a deal to take care of.
And
Um,
I do want to mention ScanDisk. They are a brand that sells a lot of memory cards. I would go with them if you're going to do any kind of micro SD card. I had a Simpson one, and it it didn't do me no good. It lost all my data. It wouldn't recognize games and stuff. But you might pay some money for them. But ScanDisk is a brand that I trust completely.
mhm.
I don't know if you have the same one, uh, Jesse.
Yeah, and ScanDisk you can get for pretty cheap on Amazon. So
Yes.
like they usually have deals going on stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
Because as we get closer and closer to like the terabytes and that, and on those disks, those 100 gig ones, and under 200 are usually like fairly cheap. Obviously you're gonna pay a little bit more if you go and get it at the store, just because the store is taking a cut as well a lot of the
Right.
times. Whereas like Amazon and stuff, a lot of times they can sell that stuff for closer to to like what it costs for them to get it from the companies and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Uh,
yeah.
so, Tim, I do recommend. I want to address your second question. What are some must-haves on the system in terms of indies or smaller titles? Um, First of all, once again, thank you for finding us on Nintendo Power Block. We really welcome you. Hopefully, you'll join us on our Nintendo Power Block Facebook page, and hopefully, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a show called a Nindy Showcase that me, Corey, has done, and Jesse has been on it. And we have both of our seasons are out, so you can see the games that we do recommend: Lightfall, Graceful Explosion Machine, um,
Golf Story.
Golf Story, Yoko's Island, War Groove. Just we have a lot of games. Um, that we have recommend that we showcased and we talked about, and it's not too long of a season, 8 episodes per season, but we recommend you go check that out. Really check out what other people are also playing, whatever is also is in your price range and stuff. You can check reviews, like The Messenger is a great one. Of course, if you haven't played Shovel Knight, I recommend Shovel Knight. Jesse, you have some ones. I mentioned Lightfall, and you mentioned Golf Story is a kind of pretty much a must have. Like, it's
Yeah.
really really good.
Yeah, it's so much fun, and there's a lot of content because it really can that game can really take as long as you want to, because you're
Hmm.
like it's so like the idea of it is it's basically an RPG, but your battle mechanic is golfing. So you're like you battle someone by playing a game of golf against them, and then you have like different kinds of styles of shooting the ball, or things, abilities you can use or whatever in the map, to either get your ball further or whatever. And so yeah, it's a really good game, but like you can just sit and just play games of golf and stuff like that if you
Right.
want to. Like there's all different kinds of things
And
you
also,
can do.
yeah, and also check out some of the arcade games that you may have never played or you recognize and you want to try out. They got some great games on there. So we're gonna get into our last question, and then I'm gonna ask this one question, and then we'll close out for that. This last question comes from Danny Lindell. Do you see more third-party games coming to the Switch? As a frequent traveler, it's hard for me to play some of the bigger titles, and I was wondering on your take. Yes, I believe more third party games will be coming to Switch. Definitely like games from Bethesda, and different other indies, and even like Square Enix. Um, the thing about it is with this question is, you kind of got to separate Western third party and Eastern third party. Um, Definitely with Microsoft bringing Microsoft and Studio, um HDR, whatever it is. I'm sorry, everybody. The people who make Cuphead, with that coming to
Hmm.
Switch, um, those games are going to be hopefully showing up more. Like everybody, when I wants to see Ori the Blind Forest, everybody wants to see Will of the Wisp and stuff come from Microsoft, and that and Moose. I think it's Moose Studio. Come together and bring stuff. If we're looking for a lot of the Western third party, it's going to be for right now Bethesda. Because of the way Doom's, Wolfenstein 2, on how those games kind of perform. Uh, from it. If we're looking for a lot of Eastern third party games, we'll get some indies, but we also have Bandai Namco, we have Tecmo Koei, we have Square Enix, Platinum Games, and a lot of people who are working with Nintendo to bring out some titles that Nintendo may publish or they might publish themselves. Um,
Hmm.
for right now, Activision and EA are not in a good light. And saying that, a lot of people are not looking, they're going through a lot of transitions and a lot of problems. And
Hmm.
we won't see their games on Nintendo Switch. And I think for a lot of Nintendo players, and it just be me. I'm just doing my very own opinion about this. I can't be speaking for Corey or Jesse. I think a lot of people don't want their games on the system at this time until they get things right in their companies. They kind of got going through some things at this moment, but you know we with Bethesda being good, Double Fine bringing Rad out and stuff, and Psychonauts 2. I think Psychonauts 2 is also coming to Switch. Uh, and other developers like that, whether they're considered a second party or first party, or third party, I should say. Um, there's a lot of games coming out for the Switch that could be considered as third party. Um, you know, who would have thought Ninja Theory would be putting Hellblade on Switch? You know, Ninja Theory has never made a game for Nintendo, even though I think this is someone else is doing the porting and stuff. I could
Hmm.
see if Microsoft allowed Ninja Theory to actually put a game on Switch, it would be really good. I that's my thing. Uh, so you kind of got to just separate Western third party and Eastern third party, um, for this time being. Jesse, you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, like my only thing, like kind of back to the EA stuff,
Mhm.
like they do have games that they've made that I think like that we have got on the Switch that I think are good fits for the Switch.
Mhm.
And I think that's the thing is I don't know that it's so much that like I don't want like personally any of their games on there. It's just there's just certain games like Battlefield and stuff like that that just don't really need to be on the Switch because I feel like most of the people who have the Switch as their main console,
Yes.
that's not gonna be interesting to them anyways. Like they're not really interested in that game. The only people that would be playing that are people that have it as their second game, their second console, and those people are going to most likely play their Battlefields, their Titanfalls, things like that on the on the bigger systems. Now, I could see us getting Apex Legends eventually on Switch
Yes.
because I think that would be a little bit more of a fit just because of the animation style and stuff like that. Um, I could also see as no, I was trying to think of like some other games that I could see being possible coming over.
I, I would say for EA, and everybody's been saying this, because of Apex Legend, everybody wants Titanfall 2. Like
Yeah,
people like Titanfall 2, I think personally needs to be on Switch because it didn't get the visibility on Xbox and on
yeah,
PlayStation 4. It really got overshadowed, and it got overshadowed of the battle between Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty World of War. Um,
yeah. Yet it was the
those
better one of both.
right.
It was the
And
better of the three.
right, and Titanfall 2 didn't sell well. I think if that game, whether it gets ported to Switch or not, but if that game got ported to Switch, it would be an instant hit. And I think it would show
Mhm.
Respawn, hey, we care. I'm like, we are making up the sales for a game that you still been trying to sell, and you even made it cheap, and it's still not going nowhere, but it's now doing wonders on the console that one of your former employees thought wasn't possible to do. You
Yeah,
know, and we've seen how Wolfenstein 2 and Doom has been running, and hopefully Doom 2 and Wolfenstein Youngblood. We've seen how when the port of a game to Nintendo Switch is really taken care of, people are going to be like, okay, I need to go buy this game. And once again, when we say graphics doesn't matter, it's like if the game could run at a steady, frame rate, there's not too much stuttering or anything. A lot of people know that, hey, it might not look good on my TV, it might not look good on my handheld, but if it feels fast and quick and obviously bringing me an enjoyable experience, that's all that matters to me.
yeah. Yeah, I do think you kind of touched on this too. Like I do think not only are we going to be getting games from, third party games still, but I still think we're gonna see more. Like we just got that recent announcement of them making that like remake of I forget what the name of the game is now, sorry, but that remake of it where it's mixed with Zelda or whatever.
Crypto than Necromancer.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So like I think we're still gonna see collaboration stuff like that too, because
yes.
Nintendo has kind of showed us that like that they're excited to see what people can do with their their characters and stuff like that. So
Right.
I think
Like
we'll also see stuff like that from third party developers as well. I think still through.
and I could actually tell this, and Jesse knows this. I would pay 19.99 to have Call of Duty's Battle Royale on Switch. Just that mode alone, 20
Yeah.
bucks. And if they could do crossplay with Xbox, heck yeah. I'll get my tail kicked by Jesse. He is king of that game. He knows what he's doing. He is master. But we talked about like Call of Duty, like that battle royale was really good. I'll pay 20 bucks for that to happen.
Hmm.
Um, you know, we talked about Rainbow Six Siege on Switch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that could possibly happen. Like we could see stuff happening, but it's gonna be up to third party to do it.
Yeah.
But that is gonna be the show, everybody. The question that I want to ask you guys, and this is not part of the contest, but I want to ask you guys, do leaks ruin the excitement of a game announcement? And is there any benefit when a company is forced to announce it officially? Um, we kind of there's kind of been some leaky stuff coming before E3, and it's been getting people hype. But does it ruin the surprise if Nintendo Direct or Inside Xbox or even State of Play, PlayStation's new show? Like, do you think that it ruins the excitement when stuff gets leaked? I want to hear what you guys think. Hopefully me, Jesse, and Corey could probably do a mini blog on this question and provide our own answers for it. But you guys can email the show at nintendopowblock@gmail.com. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Nintendo_pblock and on Instagram at Nintendo_pblock. You could join our Facebook page, Nintendo Power Block fan group. Yes, and the contest. I'm giving away two $20 gift card eShop cards. I'm giving it one for a guy and one for a lady. And I want to know, what will you be doing with this $20 gift card? Um, is there a particular game that you're playing, and why are you looking forward to it? Not because it's the hottest release or this developer is my favorite. And like, I really want you guys to think about why. If you get this $20 gift card, what are you going to be buying and why you're going to be buying it? Maybe like Corey talked about Gris. Maybe you was just like, I want to see what the art style is and see what the story and if it really is emotional. Want to know all about that. So but Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at PhantomMegadAX.
You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can also check out my podcast, Optional Opinion, and Arsenal X. You can find Corey at Corey in HD 713 on Twitter and on Instagram. Please, everybody, join us for Arsenal X tomorrow. Also join us on ngrradio.com. I had to think about some things first. Check out shows, Nerds Gone Road, Nerds Gone Platinum, Arsenal X, Squad Goals, Trophy Hunters, and more stuff that we do. I do have a blog up that you guys can read. It's about the epic anger that PC gamers have about Steam. About some exclusive deals. So go read that. It's a really interesting viewpoint that I have. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woo-hoo!